Good evening and greetings to whoever's watching this video. My name is Jackson Clark. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Bellas Falls, Vermont, a very small rural town in southern Vermont where I've lived my whole life. Today I'm going to give a landscape of who I am by expressing my upbringing, my origin pretty briefly and how that shaped me, and then I'm going to go into my creative habits, my other interests and hobbies that kind of define who I am, and then I'll talk about my more specific vision for the internship that's coming up in the second semester in Stockholm. To start, I was born and raised in this small town in Vermont, and its laid-back environment is definitely reflected in my character and how I lead myself day to day. I'm also surrounded by nature constantly, and I have been my whole life, so I've been very hands-on and interactive with nature throughout my upbringing and my childhood, which definitely has sparked some creative spirit in me as I've grown older. I'll get into my creative habits now that I'm on that topic. Writing, I've always had a thing for writing. I've always been able to translate my thoughts into a tangible word form, and that's something I've been realizing more and more as I'm maturing and gaining new perspectives and intellect. It really it's my way of transferring my thoughts and my built up energy in my head into a tangible form. It's my way of release. It's my way of allowing for an influx of new information to go into my mind so new things can be created. It's really, way to keep things flowing through my head and through my creative channel. Also, videography and film is something I'm really into. Specifically in the last, year or so of my life, I've been making little cinematic edits of different eras of my life. Specifically, when I was in New York last year for my freshman year of college, everything looks cool in New York. All pictures, all videos look cool in New York. So I'd go to different locations and I'd bring my camera and I'd use my creative eye and my instincts in terms of that. And I'd find different angles, different clips, and different scenes that appeared aesthetic to me at that moment in time. And then once that era of my life would pass, the next step would be compiling all those clips together, muting all the videos and, sometimes unmuting if it's the vibe. But then I'd find a bunch of songs that worked, and then I narrow it down to three songs, and then 2 songs, and then my intuition would usually tell me which one was the right one at that point. But I loved it. I loved the mysteriousness of not knowing what the final product is going to look like, and that's really what I love most about anything creative. And because before any project is started, you're face to face with the unknown. You never know what the final product is going to look like, and that's mysterious and that's exciting, and that's why I'm pushed to create and push to the final product, because that's the end goal. But you never know what it's going to be like, so it's exciting. I'm also really into bodybuilding. It's been a very concrete habit in my life for the last 5 years. It's taught me so much about myself and life as a whole, and what it means to be disciplined and consistent. It's one thing to work hard here and there, but to work hard every single day, it's a whole different story. It teaches you so much. To be able to show up when you feel sick, when you feel like you don't want to be there, is to show up every day. That really transforms your mental, your physical, and your spiritual. And now that I'm on that topic, I like to say that the mental and the spiritual enlightenment that I've gotten from this journey of bodybuilding for the last 5 years has completely outweighed any of the physical benefits that I've gotten. When I first started, my mind was set on, I'm gonna get big and I'm gonna look cool for my peers and I'm gonna gain respect that way. But it was the completely opposite, and I wasn't expecting that. But I'm forever grateful for the perspective that it gave me. I'm also really into philosophy as well. I think we're all philosophers in a way, and I'll get to that point after I talk about why I'm really into philosophy. The reason I'm into philosophy is that all the knowledge and the principles that philosophers have been able to, gain through experience over history, all that knowledge was already in nature, and they had to discover it and put it into tangible words in the form of language for other people to understand and interpret. That's really the beauty of it, is that all the knowledge that you ever need is in nature, and it's in your life and in your experiences. It's up to you to interpret it and turn it into knowledge and principles. So that's why I think we're all philosophers in a sense, because we learn and we live and we create our own principles and philosophy through that and through self-discovery and whatnot. Entrepreneurship is something that really, really excites me, because I want to be self-employed and I want to formulate my own path, something that I can control. But I haven't really stepped foot in that crazy amount. But just last summer, a friend and I started a small window cleaning business. In that, although being small scale, it's taught me a lot about what it means to run a business. Even though it's not very rigorous or whatnot. We've probably done upwards of 20 jobs within this summer and last summer. But yeah, it taught me so much about how to communicate with customers and how to value yourself and your time, and how to budget, how to schedule. And we haven't really scaled that much, but it's taught me how to grow the business as well. At first, we started with just word of mouth, and then created a Facebook page, Instagram page, and used Facebook marketing, that channel. And I've done video editing, use my knowledge from the other videography and stuff that I do on the side, and I've used that knowledge to help with that marketing and stuff like that. So that's kind of a gist of my interest. I might have skimmed over a few things and not gone in depth and everything, but I feel it gives you a good picture of who I am and what I'm interested in, what I'm driven to do in my life. So next, I'll talk about my vision for the internship. I've thought about it for a while because I know I have so many interests that it's hard to narrow it down for what I really want to do. But I know that I really want to be in a creative space, somewhere where I'm intellectually challenged to, create and do things that I'd never done before, to say the least. And I also don't want to be sitting behind a desk all day. I want to be hands-on, but along with that, I also want to learn what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and what it's like to run a business and run a successful business, more so, and to grow a business. So all those things, kind of float around in my head. The creative aspect, the hands-on aspect, and the business aspect are really my three pillars when it comes to this internship. I don't know exactly what I want to do for, the exact theme or whatever, but, as I mentioned, writing, videography and film, bodybuilding, fitness and whatnot, philosophy, and entrepreneurship skills, and goes over all of those things. So that's that. I really hope this gave you a good gist of who I am as an individual and what I'm interested in and what I want to get out of this internship. But, I'll mention again that I really want this to be a transformative experience. I want a challenge. I want something that's going to change me for the better, that's going to set me up for good opportunities in the future. Thank you very much for listening. If there's any questions that you need any more information from me, feel free to reach out however you can. But that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.